This is TLV1.
TLV1 Radio.
Great mixer.
I like Tel Aviv.
This is TLV1.
This is
Tel Aviv is a beautiful city.
Great city, great radio.
TLV1.
This is TLV1.
From the TLV1 studios in Tel Aviv, Israel, it's Louis Live! Now host, me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. This is Louis Live, Tuesday night on TLV1.fm. We've got a great show. We're going to have on, from Maccabi Haifa, Andrew Wilson, talk about the championship game tomorrow night in Nokia Arena. Jerry Mann, Knesset Insider, talk about the NBA Finals. Nate Fish, the king of baseball. Tal Sega from Israel Netball, and much more. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, talk a little dragon racing. Dragon boat racing is Batia Weinberg. This is Louis Live on TLV1. All right, back here on Louis Live on TLV1. You can always follow the station on Twitter at TLV1.fm or email me personally at arilouisshow@hotmail.com, ARILOUISSHOW@hotmail.com. Of course, there's a big dragon boat race this Friday. On the line to talk about that is dragon boat racer Batia Weinberg. Batia, welcome to Louis Live on TLV1. It's great to have you on. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about dragon boat racing. Can you tell me and the audience a bit about what that is?
Dragon boat racing is going to be the third time in Israel. It's something that happens all over the world. Our Canadian friends suggested that we participate, and it's for the third year that we have a group of victims of terror, people that were injured in terror activities that are participating in the race.
But the actual sport in itself, can you entail what that is? What's the point of the sport? What are the goals of the sport?
The goal of the sport is racing, and it's like a boat that holds 20 passengers and one drummer. And they row the boat, and it's a race. Whoever comes in first is the winner. But we are basically doing it for fun, and we are doing it because we want to bring the victims of terror and prove that something did happen to them, and still they're going with their lives, and they're trying, and they're coming to be together, and it's a teamwork.
All right, and is this done in water, on land?
In the Kinneret. It's in the Kinneret, and it's once a year in the month of June.
Okay, once a year in the month of June. You're working with Team One Family, One Family Fund, and tell us how that got connected.
Our friends in Canada suggested that we join because I think it's being sponsored by the Canadians, and they suggested that we participate. That's how we got there.
And Team One Family, they work with victims of terror. They're a big charity organization, do a lot of great work. Tell us just a little bit more about them.
Well, One Family is treating about 3,500 people, about 1,800 bereaved families, and about 1,800 people that were wounded in terror activities, soldiers and civilians, in September 29th of the year of 2000. And we're there for them in addition to what the Bituach Leumi does, the Social Security Services and the Ministry of Defense, to fill in gaps and do things that they're not doing for the victims of terror. That is, for example, right now I just walked out, I have a group of bereaved parents that meets in Haifa already for the 8th year. We meet like once a month, and we have a lecture, and bereaved parents are coming, and they're together for two and a half hours. And for them, it's a great activity because They meet people of their own. They can be themselves. They don't have to put on a show. They can be happy. They can smile. They can be sad, and they're looking forward for those meetings.
We're speaking with Dragon Boat racer Batia Weinberg here on Lewis Live on TLV1. Now, Dragon Boat racing is known by many as the ultimate team sport. Can you tell us why that is?
It's a kind of sport that it's a group that has to work together, and like if one is behind and the boat wouldn't row properly, and it's a teamwork, and that's our purpose, to bring all the people to be together, to be united, to trust each other and help each other out.
And what do you think makes your particular Dragon Boat team unique?
Well, I'll tell you, we're starting, it's the third year that we're doing it, and we took 15 couples. That one of the couples was injured in a terror activity, and the group keeps on meeting afterwards, like once a month. And our group that participated 3 years ago is the third year that they meet once a month, and they give each other strength, and they listen to each other, and they help out each other, and they become friends for life. And that's our purpose, to put us together, to get them united together.
All right,
and to help out each other.
And the race will be this Friday.
This Friday morning at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, and people just go to the Kinneret and then they can watch the race?
Yeah, sure. Anybody. It's next to the shore of the Kinneret, and anybody can come and watch it.
Okay, and if people want to get more information about Dragon Boat racing, what's the best way they can go about doing that?
Go on the website and take a look. Look it up on the website.
Okay, do you have that website at hand?
No, not on me.
Okay, so
But let them Google it and write Dragon Boat in Israel, and they'll find the connecting address.
All right, so go ahead and Google Dragon Boat in Israel, and you can find out more about it. The race is this Friday morning. Go to the Kinneret, check it out. Batia Weinberg, thanks so much for being on Lewis Live on TLV1.
You're welcome.
All right, be well. And special thanks to Ellie Klein for setting up that interview. Ellie Klein has set up a lot of great interviews in the past. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, talking about the Israel Basketball Championship tomorrow night, Nokia Arena. Very interesting situation. There's a new format this year. Instead of a one-game winner-take-all situation, there are two games being played. There was a game played earlier, game one. Maccabi Tel Aviv won by 4 points, so that means that Maccabi Haifa wins by 5 points or more tomorrow night in Nokia Arena. They will defend and be champions again. They're the champions last year. They can be champions again. It will be a tough task getting the win in Nokia Arena. To talk more about that is Maccabi Haifa public relations man Andrew Wilson. He'll be on the other side of this break. This is Lewis Live on TLV1. Back here on Louis Live, we had a great show. The first segment, we're going to keep on rolling. On the line right now, Maccabi Haifa's Relations Department Director, good friend of mine, Andrew Wilson. Andrew, welcome back to Louis Live here on TLV1.
Hey, Ari, how you doing?
Doing
Good to be
great.
here.
We really appreciate the time because you're in the middle of the championship series, obviously very busy. Game 1 didn't go as you would have liked, losing by 4 points, but your team came on real strong. They had a tough deficit in the first half. They made it a very close ball game. Talk about the run that your team put on and make it such a close game.
Well, you know what? It was a great battle. We didn't come out with the aggressiveness we needed to in the first half, but we were down, I believe, 10 points twice and kind of made up the gap. Wish we could have, won by 4, but it's, we're in a tough spot, but I think we can do this.
Now,
it'll be an uphill battle.
It was an uphill battle, partly because Maccabi Tel Aviv really did well from beyond the arc. Rice had some, Blue had some threes. Is that part of the key in practice to focus on defending the three-point shot?
It will be. I know these guys understand Maccabi Tel Aviv. They're an excellent three-point shooting team, best in the league. So it's going to be an adjustment. We're a tough team on the inside, and we did. If you look at the statistics from the 2-point range, we did very well. But if we're going to win this, we're going to have to limit them on the 3-point line. So I know they're going to be working on this tonight, and they'll be ready for tomorrow.
And on your side, Donta Smith, great game, 29 points in the first game of the series. Brian Randall, 27 points. Do you feel confident that your two big scorers can produce big tomorrow night in Nokia?
Yes, these guys are going to be there. I don't know if they're going to be able to put up those tremendous numbers like last time, but it's a team effort. And I know all the guys like Moran Ross, Dagan Yavzuri, Ben Rice, Terrence Roderick, all of them are going to have to make a contribution if we're going to win this. It's going to have to be a complete team effort. And they know that. They understand that. It can't be just two guys to take down Maccabi Tel Aviv. It's going to have to be an all-around team effort with dishing the ball. And when we're on, we're one of the toughest offensive teams in the league.
Now, Andrew, this is a very interesting series in that your team is the defending Israeli champions. Maccabi Tel Aviv is the reigning European champions. Did you feel that one team looked and said, we're the ones who should be the favorite, we're the ones who are in charge before the series started?
Well, you know what? Maccabi Tel Aviv, obviously, they have, all those years of history. They won, like you said, the European championship. But there's no fear from our team. We are the champions of Israel. We're going to go out fighting and hopefully earn that second consecutive championship. That's the goal. That's what these guys are going to try and do. And that hasn't been done since 1967. So that's kind of history in itself, other than Hapoel Tel Aviv, which did it, twice in the history of Israeli basketball. So these guys are going to give it their all. And you know what? 4 points, it's not that much. So I'm sure they're going to, battle to the end.
Speaking with Andrew Wilson from Maccabi Haifa. Andrew, it's interesting because a lot of people thought you guys might not get back here because you have got Brad Ringer was a coach last year. He's not the coach this year. You had a big turnover with your roster. That's really a tremendous compliment to you and the organization. So just touch a bit about that, how you guys were able to maintain the excellence with some new cast of characters.
I spoke with our team owner, Jeff Rose, and I work with him. He's based in Miami, and we actually were eating lunch right after we won, a couple weeks after we won the championship last year. And as we were assembling this team that we had a conversation, and he said that, on paper, we have what we believe a better team than even the championship roster. So not everyone believed it. Many people didn't. There's a history of teams other than Maccabi Tel Aviv winning a championship, and the next year they break apart, they fall apart. We had an amazing season. It's been an incredible run. We're one game away from winning the second consecutive championship. No one really believed it could happen. And, other than the organization itself, the fans really bought into this team. We actually had the second highest attendance averaging nearly 2,800, 2,900 fans. So the fans really fell in love with this team, and hopefully we can make everyone happy tomorrow.
All right, Maccabi Haifa will play Nokia tomorrow. If they win by 5 points or more, they win the championship. That's what's on the line. 30 seconds left with you, Andrew. I don't know if you could do this or not, but I'll ask you anyways. Give us a prediction. Is your team going to get it done tomorrow night?
You know what? I'm going to say these guys are going to do it.
All right.
So, let's. We're hoping for the best. I know they have no fear, so whatever happens, happens. But I think they'll do it.
All right. I like that. Media guy boasting about his team. Media guy saying that they can get it done. Andrew, thanks so much for your time, and thank you for being on Louis Live here on TLV1.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Be well. We'll be back
bye-bye.
with more Louis Live after this. All right, back here on Louis Live on TLV1. That's a great song right there. Of course, all my music is provided by Tomer Gersherman, so shout out to Tomer. And, of course, shout out to Udi, who's to my right. You can't see him because this is radio, but he's producing. So thanks to Udi, and thank to all of you for listening. Let's switch gears. We've talked Dragon Racing. We've talked Maccabi Haifa versus Maccabi Tel Aviv basketball. We're not going to talk the Mondial, also known as World Cup, in the world of football, also known as soccer. We're going to throw a twist here. We're going to have a rabbi on to talk about this. On the line right now from Brazil, live from Brazil, Rabbi Quadniski. Rabbi, welcome to Louis Live here on TLV1.
Thank you. It's really a great pleasure to be with you and the friends from TLV1.
You know, Rabbi, I was thinking over, I think you're the first rabbi on my show. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure you are. So that's pretty cool.
I'm not just a rabbi, I'm a journalist too.
All right, so there you go. Dual combination. So the situation, the whole world is looking at Brazil for the next month because of this huge event. I'm curious about the Jewish angle because the Israeli national team is not in the World Cup, but a lot of Israelis love the World Cup. A lot of Jewish people in Brazil will be going. So talk about that. Have you noticed an influx of Israelis coming into Brazil to watch the World Cup?
Okay, we organize the community in many cities to receive not just the Israelis, to receive the Jewish citizens who will arrive with the different teams. I would like to speak about specifically about my community, Sibra, in Porto Alegre. We are in South Brazil, and we organize the community to receive our friends. We have some families who offer bedrooms to receive the guests.
Wow!
And last Shabbat we organized the Shabbat of the Nations. We organize a special Shabbat. We invite people from different countries to share with us the Shabbat service.
Oh, that's amazing.
Service. We are part of the interfaith dialogue group in town. We invite the city mayor, and we share a special time together praying for the peace. We have many material in different languages, German, French, Spanish, and also in Portuguese, to give to our guests. And we hope to receive many people in our community. The local authorities are talking about 200,000 tourists who will arrive to Porto Alegre and we are talking about 3 million Brazilians who will travel through the country. I would like to remember that we are a country with 180 million citizens. Then 3 million of Brazilians will travel from one city to the other.
Wow.
Then we try to receive everybody with open hands, and of course we put a symbol. Do you listening?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and we put the symbol. We create our own symbol from the World Cup. It's very nice. If you can enter in our website or in our Facebook, we create a symbol from the World Cup with a menorah.
Oh wow!
It's really very nice. It's the cup, but instead of the cup, we put in his place the menorah. Our website is Sibra, SIBRA.org, O-R-G. And you can also enter in our Facebook, Synagoga Sibra, Synagogue Sibra, to see our own symbol. Always we put the flag in front of our community, the Brazilian flag, and our menorah with the symbol of the World Cup. And we hope to receive many, not just Israelis, citizens, Jews who are coming from all over the world. But in fact, the Jewish community is ready. What it's not ready is the country. It's a pity to say, but the airports they are not ready. The cities, the roads. What you are going to see in the television will be the stadium. The stadium, all of them, we have 12 stadiums to receive the different matches in 12 cities. And into the stadium, everything will be okay. And the problem will be outside the stadium, because many citizens are against the World Cup. We are in a very special situation now in Brazil. Next October we have general elections, and there are many people against the World Cup. Really, it's very hard. The situation about mobilization, transportation, communication. This will be really a bad point for tourists who come from Europe, who come from the First World. We are not in the First World. This is our reality. We are in South America. We would like to be as a developed country, but in fact we are not a developed country. And we're trying to make these things works, but it's not ready. We know 7 years ago that will be the World Cup here, but we are in the middle of a big bureaucracy, and we couldn't arrive to the end of many things that might be ready for 3 days. In 3 days we'll start the World Cup, and there are many strikes in different towns. The government is very worried about what will happen during the World Cup.
All right. That sounds great. Well, Rabbi, we certainly appreciate the time here on Louis Live on TLV1. Of course, enjoy the World Cup. It'll be a fun month. The whole world will be watching, about, they say, 1 billion people. That's probably an underestimate. So thank you so much for being on Louis Live.
There is something interesting to say.
Sure.
Especially the young people from Argentina. They're trying to organize 1 minute of silence during the match between Argentina and Iran to remember the terrorist attack in Buenos Aires. They are trying to develop this and to do 1 minute silence before the match to remember the terrorist attack in Buenos Aires and other issues. I am really very worried. What about the Arab countries who are arrived to Brazil? Because it's very easy to enter to this country, and if really who will come with Iran, with Algeria, with Egypt, there will be fans or other kind of people.
All right, so obviously, hopefully there's a lot of safety. I'm sure there'll be a tremendous amount of security. It is a focal point of the entire world on this one country for about a month. Obviously, hopefully everybody's safe and safe to you and your family as well. Again, Rabbi, thank you for being here on Louis Live on TLV.
Thank you. We wait for you here in Brazil, okay?
All right.
Everybody will be welcome. If someone need a place, need a bedroom, please contact us, enter to our website, and we will be welcome to the different communities in Brazil.
All right. That sounds really nice of you. Thank you so much, Rabbi. Be well.
Bye.
All right. Now, see, I asked one question, and he talked for 7 minutes. That's how you know he's a rabbi. So there we go. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, Knesset insider Jerry Mann talking about the NBA Finals. This is Louis Live on TLV1. All right, back here on Louis Live on TLV1. Again, you can follow the station on Twitter at TLV1.fm, or you can email me personally, arilouisshow@hotmail.com, ARILOUISSHOW@hotmail.com. Great first half of the show so far. We're going to keep it rocking and rolling. In the second half, on the line right now, Knesset insider from JeremySultan.com to talk about the NBA Finals. Jeremy Mann. Jeremy, how you doing out there?
I'm doing great. Great to be with you, Ari.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about the NBA Finals. First, there is a Jewish-Israeli connection because Tony Parker did the Canal, which is somewhat of a Nazi salute. The Miami Heat have some Israeli ownership, Mickey Arison, Renan Katz. Should the Jews of Israel and Jews across the world, unless they're in San Antonio, should they be rooting for the Miami Heat?
Well, I think there are more Jews that can connect with Florida than they can Texas.
Right, that's true. A lot of retirement Jews there, so that's a good point. And also,
yeah, and my in-laws. So.
Oh, they're in Florida. Yeah. Okay, so that's a good
reason.
Yeah,
I just found out that pretty much everyone from New England and New York that come down, they automatically become Heat fans.
Yes, and certainly not riding the bandwagon, but okay. So now you're an insider in the Knesset. Do Knesset members watch any American sports?
No, they're not very big on American sports. They're very big on soccer, of course.
Okay.
During that time, with Beckham, in L.A. and whatever, that was very interesting to them. although I did hear many things in terms of Knesset members making fun of American soccer. But I'm still pretty sure the American soccer team can whip the Israeli soccer team any day. But yeah, they're not such big fans, I'll be honest.
Now, the Knesset members, though, I understand they have long weekends. Wouldn't that be time to learn about Israeli sports or American sports, because they're not really using that time to serve the public too much, right? So wouldn't that be the way to go?
Well, you're referring to the 4-day weekends that Knesset members have of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
Well, usually they're supposed to be using that time to connect with voters, and I did actually have a conversation with quite a few MKs saying, listen, you should be connecting with voters, and a great way to do that is to watch, American sports, American movies, American TV shows, and that's apparently something they've done a lot of.
All right.
But, it is a good point to mention that, you do have an MK named Dov Littman from Baltimore, and he is he wrote a book actually about baseball, not very much connected to the NBA Finals, but he is a very big baseball fan.
All right, so there is some connection there with Knesset and American sports. And talk about the NBA Finals. It's 1-1 going back to Miami. What were your thoughts of the first two games? You had LeBron with the leg cramps in Game 1. A lot of people thought conspiracy theory. Popovich turned on the Heat in Texas. And then, of course, the Heat win by 2 points in Game 2. So give us your thoughts about the first two games.
Yeah, well, honestly, I was wondering why I was awake so late. that was the first thing I was wondering. But really, when I'm going ahead and I'm looking at this series, I think that's the way it should be. I think, we're talking about the NBA Finals. I want to see it to be very close every game. I want to see it go over, to Game 7. I want to see the excitement. I really think that you have the best team coming out of the East. I'm saying this as a Bulls fan, right? It's very tough for me to say that while swallowing my pride a little bit, but you have the best team coming out of the East, with the Heat, and I think the Spurs, they're the veteran team. They're the team that, they're really like, it's so nice really to see that style of play, that team effort, versus, what you see on the other side with the big three and Ray Allen and some of the other big names that you see on the Miami side. So, I'm just always trying to figure out, like, who do I want to win? I'm not so sure, and that's why I also like to see things very tight and see close games. I'm always for the person who's the underdog at whatever given time, but I have to say I'm trying to deal with this, but I think I keep moving a little bit further and further with the Spurs, I'll be honest.
Now, there is a conspiracy theory that in Game 1, they turned the Heat on purpose, and that's what caused the leg cramps to LeBron James. And people say, well, that would hurt the Spurs as well, but if the Heat is coming, you could practice in that, you can have IVs, et cetera. Do you think there was a conspiracy theory in Game 1?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard this thing all the time that, like, Knesset committee chairman, he'll decide that he wants to move the vote in a certain direction, so he'll play with the temperature control, knowing, what certain Knesset members might like or not like in order to sort of, maybe clear the room or something like that.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah, I've heard that stuff before. I mean, I don't really believe so much in conspiracy theories, but I'll tell you one thing that's really nice about being in Knesset. You sit down in the lunchroom, and you will have some really weird people sit next to you, and they will tell you some really weird things. So, whenever I'm thinking conspiracy theories, that's definitely an option. I mean, it could be a 1 in a million chance, and I really think that that's ridiculous, but it's something that's great for talk radio, so we can sit down and talk about it.
That's right. And Popovich has won 4 titles, and he has done it with different players. Popovich is a leader. Would he make a better leader than Benjamin Netanyahu?
Wow, you're really putting me on the spot there. You're trying to get me in trouble. What I will say is, like I said, I really love the Spurs coaching style. I love the team effort. I like that you really can't go ahead and say, listen, this is the guy, whether it's Ginobili, it's just so nice. You see the second team also coming in so strong. I just really like it. I like the fact that every player has a role, that they know what it is that they have to do, that they're able to execute it. And I think a true leader is able to do that. He's able to look at his roster, he's able to know the strengths and the weaknesses, and he's able to put the right people on the court for the right minutes.
Yeah.
And I definitely hope that the leaders that we always have in the state of Israel are going to be able to execute it as well as San Antonio.
Yeah, spoken like a true politician. See that?
You.
See that? He didn't actually answer the question. But I would like to see Popovich could be prime minister.
That's what we do in Knesset. We avoid answering the question. But no, look, I mean, let's talk about how interesting that is, where you have, Miami with all the talent, really, LeBron. It's just crazy what that guy is able to do, throw 35 points in like nothing.
Right.
Right? And you see that, and then on the other side, again, like who can you put on the San Antonio roster and say this person is at the same level as LeBron? So I'm saying you have different leadership styles. You have a leadership style where it's like, I'm the main dude, and, I got a nice supporting cast, and then you have a team-type effort. And I think that's what you have also in the Knesset. You have certain leaders who are saying, I have a team, I have a party, these are my players, and we're going to go ahead and go out and get our game on. And then you have other players where they're saying, I'm the head honcho, and, everyone else here is part of the supporting cast. So
I just say
different types of looking at leadership.
Netanyahu lives by me, and that's great. I just feel like Popovich gets more out of his team than what Netanyahu gets out of his team. That's all. That's all I'm saying. 4 titles. It speaks for itself. Jeremy, we got to run. Now, I understand you're performing tonight in Jerusalem, so tell the folks about that.
I am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. For any of you who happen to be in Jerusalem, I know I'm talking on Tel Aviv radio, but if you guys are in Jerusalem at around 10 o'clock in the Shuk area, there's a really nice project going on called Olim Alabar, and I'm going to get up. I'm going to do 30 minutes of stand-up material. I'm going to give you the insight on what's going on in the Knesset. I'm going to talk a little bit about the presidential elections that happen today. I have some very special Rievling jokes for you all. So if you're in Jerusalem, you're by the Shuk, come down and enjoy.
There you go. All right, Jeremy Mann, boys and girls, check out his website, jeremysalton.com. Jeremy, thanks so much.
Thank you, Ari. Take care.
Be well. And before we go to our next guest, just a couple of quick programming notes. The next few weeks, we're going to have some huge guests for everybody. We're going to have on Yael Overbuck and Dinah Redmond in the next few weeks to talk about the World Cup. We're going to have on Amy Lawrence from CBS Radio to talk more about the NBA Finals as they'll be going on next week. And the NHL Finals right now are 3-0 for LA. It could be over by tomorrow, but we will have a recap next week if they are over by then. If they somehow continue and go to a Game 6, Game 7, etc., then we'll have someone to talk about that. That's just some programming notes. Quick break on the other side from Israel Netball, Tal Segev. This is Louis Live on TLV1. Back here, Louis Live on TLV1, and also want to remind all our fans and listeners, you can add me on Facebook, ARI, then LOUIS. I love getting Facebook friends. I'm almost at 5,000, very excited about that. We're going to talk about a very special segment now. Next week will be the Israel Netball Championship on Thursday, and on the line to talk about that, coach of Israel Netball and a big part of why netball has such success here, Tal Segev. Tal, welcome to Louis Live here on TLV1.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So talk about the championship next week. What type of competition are we looking at? This is the best of the best next week, right?
Yeah, it's basically during the year we've had a senior league going on. All our games have been in Modi'in, and all different cities have participated. And it's basically the best of the year. The games are going to be pretty tight, I think. It's very difficult to say who and what. In our first game, we've got Jerusalem Merkaz playing against Katamon. And in the finals, we've got Ranana playing against Tel Aviv.
Okay, so that's already set for next week. That won't be changed.
For the 19th, yeah, the 19th of June.
Okay, 19th of June, so it's those 4 teams that will be playing. And before we get a little more about those details, just talk about how Israel Netball has really come along since it's been established here in Israel.
Okay, well, basically, Israel Netball started a good couple of years ago, about 14 years ago, when Jody, who made Aliyah from South Africa, took a netball that she got from her bat mitzvah. And basically a group of girls decided to go and play in the park, mark the court with chalk, and, start a game of netball. Since then, we've come a really long way. We've got 6 senior teams playing at the moment. We've got junior teams across the country as well. Israel Netball now officially has world ranking as well. We are ranked 34 in the world, and there are 70 current countries playing netball. So we've come a long way since we started playing on a basketball court in the park.
Now, Tal, I played netball before, and I've described it to my friends as basically a combination of basketball and volleyball. Would you say that's a fair way to describe it?
It is a fair way to describe it. I would say it's similar to basketball, but completely different.
Right.
The similarity is basically that there's 2 teams that play against each other. Each team shoots on a different end of the court, and that's basically where the similarities end. Netball, you're not allowed to walk with the ball. You're not allowed to bounce the ball, and you have 3 seconds to pass the ball. And each girl on the team, which is 7 on each team, have different areas on the court in which they're allowed to play in. And only 2 out of the 7 girls are allowed to shoot. And when they shoot, it's basically a hoop without the backboard.
Wow.
Same height as basketball, so it makes it really difficult, a little bit smaller, and no backboard for support. And
there's no contact, right? You can't touch the person who's shooting.
Yes, any player on the court in that matter. It's a non-contact sport, so very friendly. What happens is when somebody has the ball and you want to defend them, you have to be 3 feet away, which is just under a meter away. And so you can put your hands up and try and defend. You cannot hit the ball out of their hand. You cannot push the person with the ball. You cannot steal the ball when the other person is holding the ball. Basically, once the ball has been passed, you can try and get the ball. So it's very much a non-contact sport, and yet because it is so competitive and because the level is so high, obviously the want for the ball, people, contact accidentally.
We're speaking with Tal Segev here on Louis Live on TLV1. Tell us how you got into netball here in Israel.
Here in Israel? Well, basically, I've been playing since I was about 6 years old, and I made Aliyah from South Africa, and after the army, I saw a friend of mine was coming from South Africa to play in the Maccabi, in the Maccabi games, and I looked on the website, and I saw there's an Israel netball team, so I said I have to go check it out, and as soon as I finished the army, I basically found out who's behind it all, and I got in contact with Jody, and I started speaking to her, and then I started playing. And ever since, I've just been playing, and I coach, and just anything I possibly can.
And throughout the year, there are games, and there are friendly games that have to do with the standings, right?
Yeah, so throughout the year, basically, we've set a table in the beginning of the year, and there's a schedule. So every team plays every team, and then we have 2 rounds. And if you win, you get points. If you lose, you get points. If there's a less than 5-point difference, you get points. And basically, at the end of the league, you tally up the points, and you see the 4 top teams. Those 4 top teams play in the semifinals, and according to the wins and losses, they play for 3rd and 4th place, and then they play and the other 2 teams play in the finals. So basically, everything you do throughout the year either helps you or doesn't help you in order to get into the finals, of course.
And next week, of course, June 19th, Thursday, that's when the championship is. Where is it going to be at?
It's going to be in Ra'anana, the same hall we had our Maccabi games last year. So we're very lucky to have that court. It's a proper marked netball court. We have proper posts there. It's going to be really, really exciting. In addition, Israel Netball for the first time is hosting the AGM, the European AGM, which is basically representatives from all of Europe Netball will be here meeting in Israel, talking about all of Netball Europe issues, and they will also be present at our finals. So it's really, really great to have them amongst our guests.
All right. And is there a fee for people to watch that game, or can people just show up?
No, people just show up. It's free of charge. There's lots of space. It's a fantastic hall. It's at the Haifa Sports Aviv on Haprachim Street, number 1 in Ra'anana. The first game's going to start probably around 8 o'clock, and each game is an hour long. So as soon as the first game finishes the third and fourth, we're going to play for the finals.
All right. And if people want to find out more about Israel Netball, where can they go to?
They can go to our website, which has all the information, all the contact information. It's www.israel, ISRAEL, netball, netball.org.il.
All right. And if Jody's listening, Jody put some picture of me on Facebook of me doing some marathon that said soft.
Yeah, I saw that.
What is that? What does that mean?
I have no idea.
All right.
I actually saw that earlier, but it was quite good.
Yeah, well, I'm not soft, so I don't know what that's talking about. And I don't know why she picked that picture. That's like 3 years old, but whatever.
I don't know. That's pretty good. Come on, it shows that you're serious about what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, I look good in it. That's not what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying it should have said hard or tough or bad, you know what, not soft.
Competitive, come on.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to Jody about that. I'm going to have some words with Jody. I'm going to see her next week and ask her about it.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. You got to come down and watch the games and you can talk to her face-to-face. How's that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take you up on that.
Sounds good.
Tal, thanks so much for the time here on Louis Live on TLV1, and have fun next week. It's obviously enjoyable time. Be well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, take care.
See you soon. Okay, bye.
Tal Segev, everyone. A quick break. On the other side, the king of Jewish baseball, also known as Israel's national director of baseball. That would be Nate Fish. This is Louis Live on TLV1. Back here on Louis Live on TLV1, great show we've had. And we're now going to finish it in style. On the line, Israel National Director of Baseball and, of course, the king of Jewish baseball, the one and only Nate Fish. Nate, welcome back to the show, baby.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you're not in batting practice or any practice right now, right?
I am actually at a Israel baseball-related activity. I'm at a grand opening of Hotel Yehuda.
Oh, okay.
In Jerusalem right now.
But you're not playing baseball right now, though, right?
Amazingly not.
Okay, it's the rare time. It's like the 15 minutes of the whole month that you're not playing.
I'm in my civilian clothes.
You play baseball, I think, even in your sleep, right?
I play a lot.
You play a lot.
I play a lot of baseball.
What is this event exactly you're at with this hotel? What's that all about?
Jeff Royer, who's been a longtime supporter of Israel baseball, recently purchased the Yehuda Hotel, and it's the grand reopening tonight. So we came out here to support him. I'm with Chaim Katz, who was president of the IAB for a long time.
Sure, of course. Chaim, a good friend. So you're at this hotel, and are there other baseball players of Israel there too?
There's no other players here. We are the only representatives.
Okay, all right. But you gotta go because he's supporting the league. That's the deal.
You gotta go. You gotta be here, man. We gotta be here. We're even giving a shout out on the radio.
Of course, no problem.
Free PR out of us.
Yes, that's right. That's the way it should be. So, what's coming up next for Israel baseball tournament-wise? Games that we should all know about.
Sure. Next week we have the first annual Israel Baseball Summer Classic. It's a 5-game series between the under-21 national team and the senior national team.
Wow. Okay.
And that's happening exactly 1 month before the senior national team ships out to Slovenia for the European Championship. So it's part of our preparations to get ready to go to Europe to play in the European Championships. I don't know. I'm a little scared of the U21 guys. They're pretty good. They have a pretty good team. We're supposed to win. The seniors are obviously supposed to win. We're a little older and more experienced, but they're young. They're excited. They got a couple good pitchers. So it's going to be a good series, the best-of-5 series.
I'm sorry, before I continue, what's that music in the background? Someone playing a piano?
I don't know. It's like some kind of lounge music. It's live musicians, though.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's a very loungy vibe here.
Well, we should send this to our technical musician, Tomer Gershman. He can make a song out of it. Now, Nate, so you're coaching the senior team. So, I mean, you have a bias here. Can you do that? You're the director of the whole thing. How can you coach? That's a little weird, isn't it?
I'm wearing a lot of different hats, man. I'm playing, I'm coaching, I'm friends with all the guys on the team, so it's a complicated relationship.
Now, how embarrassing would it be for that team to lose to the under-21 guys?
Would not be good. That would not be a good way to get this thing started. Would it be embarrassing? I don't know. I would almost be proud of them. I've been working with those guys almost as much as I've been working with the seniors, so I would be happy for them.
I mean, they said it reminds me, not that it's exactly the same, but UCLA, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played back when he was Lou Alcindor, he couldn't play on the varsity team because he was a freshman, but in practice, his freshman team beat the varsity team that won the national championship. So things can happen. You have a star on the under-21 team, a pitcher dominates, and then the national team, the senior team, could lose. It could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. It's not going to happen. but
it's possible.
In a world much stranger than this one, it could happen.
And where will these games be played? Baptist Village?
Yeah, 4 of the 5 games are at Baptist Village. One of them is going to be at Sportech in Tel Aviv on Friday morning.
That sounds like the Godfather theme in the background, by the way. Is that what that is?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. You know what? I tried to find a quiet place.
It's all right.
Because I know we're on the radio, and I got to find a little quiet spot here, but there's no getting away from it. There's speakers everywhere.
Well, I'm okay with the Godfather theme because you're the Godfather of Israel baseball. See, it all works.
That's true. It's appropriate.
And I am curious because I've known you for a while. The King of Jewish baseball. What is that? Where did that come from? Because that's your website, King of Jewish baseball. So tell us.
KingofJewishBaseball.com. I'm going through some upgrades right now. Actually, I'm working with some tech guys to upgrade the website. You always got to make progress. It shows me, man. It shows me.
Right.
It's my destiny. What can I say?
Did you crown yourself with that nickname, or did someone else tell you that?
I have a friend in New York that claims that he made it up.
Well, how could he claim he either did or he didn't?
I don't remember it. I don't remember him making it up. I'm taking credit for it.
You're pretty sure you made it yourself.
Look, it's the universe gave it to me, man.
Right.
The universe gave it to me. But I'm taking credit for the actual name and starting the website and everything.
Right.
We may have to go to court over
they're going to sue you. He's going to sue you over it.
Because he claims he called me the King of Jewish baseball one night, and that subconsciously I recalled it when I came up with the website. But I'm not ready to give him credit yet.
Well, whoever came up with the thing, I mean, you are the King of Jewish baseball, correct? There's no one. Is there any competition with that?
I don't know. If you go to Google and you type it in, I pretty much dominate that first page.
Right. You're in the top 10.
There's a guy named Sandy Koufax whose name comes up occasionally.
But, Sandy doesn't like to do interviews, and you do, so that gives you a big
I love
push.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. The more press, the better, man.
Yeah.
I actually met Sandy Koufax.
All right.
Sandy Koufax played college baseball at the University of Cincinnati, which is the same place where I played college baseball. And he came back and spent a weekend with us once. Got to hang out with him for a few days.
I understand he's very quiet and shy, at least cameras. What's he like outside of the cameras?
He was great. Our coaching staff kind of warned us about that. They said he was going to be really quiet and don't ask too many questions and don't bother him about photographs, but he was really cool. He initiated conversations with us. When we did eventually kind of break the ice and start asking him questions, he was happy to sit around and talk about baseball. So, Kevin Euclid was on that team, and the two of them spent some time together, and it turns out Euc is almost as well known as Koufax is, as far as two guys that are sort of famous Major League Jewish baseball players.
Yeah, Euc's been very nice. He's been on my show before. So,
cool.
What did Koufax say that surprised you? There's one thing that he said.
Well, there was my father was there also, and my father's from New York City, and he was recalling some of the guys on the teams that Koufax had played with that he remembered, and I can't remember which guy it was, but he said, "Hey, how's so-and-so doing these days? Is he doing all right?" And Koufax just turned to my dad and said, "He's dead. He died 15 years ago." So that was sort of
that's awkward.
That was sort of a conversation ender, but we just talked to him about the guys that he used to face, what the league was like back then, stuff like that.
Yeah, I had Pete Rose on. He talked about facing Koufax, said it wasn't a lot of fun. So Koufax, arguably the greatest pitcher of all time.
He's a good one.
Nate, we have about 30 seconds. So again, one more time, tell us when people could see these games. Of course, Baptist Village for 4 of the 5. Give us a plug one more time for this series.
First annual Israel Baseball Summer Classic, 5-game set between the under-21 national team and the senior national team. It's a total of 5 games in 6 days. 4 of those games are going to be played at Baptist Village. One's going to be played at Sportech. You can find all of the information on our website, www.baseball.org.il.
All right. Nate Fish, the king of Jewish baseball. No matter who gave him the nickname, that's what he is. Here on Louis Live on TLV1. As the music goes up, what a perfect ending.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Nate. Be well.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Nate Fish, boys and girls, he always has an interesting place where he does these interviews, and we love it every time he comes on the air. That concludes our show for tonight. I want to thank all of you for listening, and, of course, thanks to our guests. We began the program with Batia Weinberg, who is a dragon boat racer, and there'll be a dragon boat race this Friday morning, 8:30 at the Kinneret. You can check out all that stuff by going to the Kinneret and Googling dragon boat racing in Israel. We then spoke with Andrew Wilson from Maccabi Haifa, the media man out there. Maccabi Haifa plays in the championship tomorrow against Maccabi Tel Aviv and Nokia. They have to win the game by 5 points or more to win the championship. We then spoke with Rabbi Quadniski from Brazil, who talked about the World Cup going on and how he likes to have a lot of Shabbat guests out there. Then Jeremy Mann, our Knesset insider, breaking down the NBA Finals, and not answer my question if Greg Popovich is a better leader than Benjamin Netanyahu. Tal Segev from Israel Netball talking about why Jody put a picture of me on Facebook that said soft on it when I am not soft. And, of course, Nate Fish, the king of Jewish baseball, talk about the tournament next week and his conversations with Sandy Koufax. Stay tuned for a lot of great programming and a lot of great stuff. But that's it for tonight. God bless and good night.